You look bored. Okay, guys, I had a lot of Mandela effects to go through, or potential possible Mandela effects to go through tonight, that I wanted to smoosh all together, cause I don't know, I just got very, very ambitious tonight. So, in any case, look through them. Yeah, he agrees, but look through them. And if you don't like the first one, you don't like the second one, just wait like a train. Another one will come along and you might like that one better. Or maybe not like it. I mean, some people don't even like Mandela effects because they creep them out. I personally think it's partly a natural phenomenon. But in any case, just wait around because another good one will come along. And the D. Snyder one, I'm telling you, that one is the weirdest one yet. So stick around for that. You got about 2 before the D. Snyder one. All right, peace out. Okay, so I'm sure everyone remembers this song, but pay attention to the lyrics now. We're just gonna do the first 2 verses and the first 4 stanzas and a 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, come on, speed it up, jazz it up. Where you going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to? You gotta be really breathy with a song. No, I don't. Do you get what you're hoping for? Behind you there's no open doors. What are you hoping for? Do you know? No, I don't. Standing still in time. And we gotta get out of here because we're in an alternate universe. Oh yes, yes, we do our minds. Okay, so that's enough of that. But what I wanted to address with this video, and it was really weird because I was looking at stuff to try and make another video, and then there was all this other stuff going on, and I was thinking, well, I could make my Diana Ross D. Snyder Moon video, but there's just so much stuff. But I was looking through it because I was preparing to tell you guys all that stuff, and then I realized there's a Mandela effect within a Mandela effect. What do I mean by that? Well, a few months ago, one of my viewers caught my attention on these song lyrics, the Do You Know? And this was the basic page from which I culled the song lyrics after my viewer told me about them. This particular graphic right here. And when I would click on the full lyrics, it would bring them up, and I'll show them to you thusly. So here are the full lyrics, and if you'll see, at the end of the second verse, do you get what you're hoping for? When you look behind you, there's no open doors. What are you hoping for? Anyway, my viewer called my attention to the fact that after the 4, it says no open doors, plural. But first of all, it doesn't really rhyme with 4. I mean, it does rhyme with 4, but there's an S at the end of it, which is really, really weird. There's no open doors behind them. And that's just really weird in that sense because we talked about it and he always remembered it as door and I always remembered it as door to go with a 4, and all of a sudden it had been changed. So in so doing and looking at my original screenshots on my phone, this is my tablet, see, that has the updated one, and this is my phone. And my phone, it's really bizarre because on my phone, I took the screenshot to basically tell you guys or show you guys what the lyrics were, what the new lyrics were, to call your attention to it. And from what I had remembered, it was doors when I took this screenshot. But if you can see here, it's just the singular door, how my viewer and I remember it. So what I'm basically saying is it's a Mandela effect and a Mandela effect because I was going to show you this video to ask you, like, do you guys think the lyrics changed? And all of a sudden, it's like there as a singular door, which is really, really strange. So in essence, the lyric changed back on this one to what I wouldn't have shown you, and what I wouldn't have circled is it's so unextraordinary as it's what I always remember in my former world. So why would I have taken the screenshot? And why would it be different than what it is now on the same link that I followed where it says doors, which I would have circled because it's obviously been changed and it's weird, and I would want to know whether you guys remember door or doors. In any case, what I'm trying to say is doors the way I remember it, because it goes with 4, and doors is wrong, and now doors is what the lyric is, and doors is what the lyric was on this original screenshot, but now it's not that. But in any case, so that's the first part. I just wanted to know what you guys remember as far as the lyrics being. So now here's another one that's got me stumped. Do you guys remember this? Like all of a sudden, I keep saying post-pandemic, but I guess we're not quite out of the pandemic yet, although they're saying there is promise. And I'm not going to get into all of you as to whether or not it's a conspiracy and whether or not the government's doing what and whoop. I don't entertain the pandemic conspiracy theories. I just can't right now. So anyway, now that everything's getting back to quote unquote more normal in Los Angeles and we're doing things and moving around, I've been out and about a lot, and I've been seeing all these billboards for this TV show called Succession. And I thought, oh, is it a new show? Is it a political movie? Whatever, what the whoop. And come to find out, I look it up online and this is its 3rd season. And now all of a sudden it seems like you can't go anywhere without hearing about it or seeing about it or anything like that. But I have no recollection of this. Now, maybe it's just because it hasn't gotten popular in the last couple of years, but it just seems weird that I never would have heard about it, especially since I was even more of a TV nerd before and during the pandemic than I am even now. Now I'm just a YouTube nerd. But that of course you probably could tell. It's a lot like this John Wick thing. Like, there was John Wick 2 that came out a couple years ago, and I had never even heard of John Wick 1, and then I knew about John Wick 2, and I barely remember John Wick 3. It's like I'm totally out of the John Wick loop. And the reason that I get so astounded by these things is that I live in LA and there's a lot of billboards in LA. And usually if there's a movie sequel, a lot of the same companies that buy out the same billboards have them placed on the same billboards I would have seen the prequel and the sequel. So in other words, I walk past them and I bus past them a lot. So I just think that's weird. I mean, I kind of, in a way, like whenever these things happen, I kind of feel like I popped into this new universe or this new world where like, hey, there's this new movie series. You didn't know about it? No, because it wasn't in your previous existence. So I don't know. It's just really strange. Like I never heard about John Wick until I heard about John Wick 2. Okay, so this one weirded me out the most. Daniel D. Snyder, which I actually never knew his first name was Daniel, but then again, I never took the time to figure it out. And oh, look, he's a Booma. Okay, Booma, you make your banging music. Anyway, this Mandela effect stems from a conversation that I was having with a friend a very long time ago. Probably almost a year, well, maybe not a year ago, but anyway, this is how long it's taken me to get to this. So we were talking about D. Snyder, and then I started looking D. Snyder up on my phone just to get some images of him. And I stopped my friend from talking, and he's also a Mandela effect believer too. And I'm like, wait a second. Have you looked at the spelling of D. Snyder's last name? And he's like, no. And then he looks at it, and he's like, oh my God, I am so surprised I didn't see that. And so what is the change in the spelling of the last name of D. Snyder? Snyder. Now, I always remember it as Snyder, but I don't know, and it was really, really strange. And not only does it look wrong on D. Snyder, but I went to a performing arts camp with his niece named Maura. Now, her name was not Maura West when I knew her. As of today, she is a soap opera actress. I've gone to a press junket or two where she was, but I absolutely never got to talk with her and interview her there because it was too crowded to sort of rehash our old summer theater days. But anyway, So she was allegedly Dee Snyder's niece. And, you know, I mean, when you think about show business and family and nepotism and how if you're related to a celebrity, oftentimes you have a better chance of becoming a celebrity yourself, well, here it is. And if you look, like, her coloring is also quite similar to his. Now, obviously, they both kind of have some dye jobs going on, but hey, the skin tone and their dye job looks very, very similar to one another. So anyway, where I'm going with this is that when I knew her in summer theater camp, her name was not Maura West. And I never heard it initially directly from her that she was Dee Snyder's niece, but everybody in our summer theater camp would say it. And Maura wasn't very, she wasn't very loud. She wasn't very braggadocious. I had no reason to believe she told tall tales, and nobody ever told me she told tall tales. But one day, like, I asked her about it, and she said yes. And other than that, she really never talked about it. So it was never a thing that she, like, trounced around and made real public or anything like that, but it was just sort of a thing. So where I'm double going with this is that her name, when I knew her in summer theater camp, was Maura Jo, and her last name was Maura Jo Snyder, Snyder. Not to be confused with Snyder from One Day at a Time. Hey, it's Snyder. But in any case, it was just like it was just so weird because that was like the first thing I did when I figured out that Dee Snyder spelled his name with an I. I was like, oh my God, did I totally misremember Maura Jo's last name? Or did she always spell it this way? And she always did. And again, like I said, I couldn't find anything online that discussed Dee Snyder changing his last name at all, and why would he change it by one letter unless it's some kind of numerological thing where, like, an I in Pythagorean numerology is a number 9, and a Y in Pythagorean numerology it's number 8. Yeah, it's number 8, I think. But in any case, I haven't done Pythagorean numerology in quite some time. But yeah, so that was just so weird to me, and I want to know what you guys remember. Did you remember Dee Snyder spelling his name Snyder or Snider? Because Snider looks so wrong to me. And it's kind of funny because, like, around the same time that I was doing summer theater with Maura Jo, the year before, I was doing summer theater with this girl named Stephanie, who maybe was kind of a tall tale teller, but she said that she had babysat for this woman and her bratty son, and the woman would sing "We're Not Gonna Take It" in, like, this concert choir voice, like this, "We're not going to take it, no, we ain't going to take it, we're not going to take it anymore." And then she told this story about this bratty kid, playing with his truck, and his truck was all fucked up, and it had this, like, wire coming out of it that was a little bit thicker than a paperclip, and I guess he'd crashed it into too many things because he was angry. So one day he got really mad at her, and he threw it at her, and it hit her in the leg, but it didn't just hit her in the leg, it impaled her in the leg on that, like, really thin, skinny little wire. And, like, she just looked up at him and she said, "You're so dead." And the kid started screaming, and then the mom came home, and then the mom drove her home. I guess they got the truck out of her leg, or they took her to the doctor, or maybe this was another day. But the mom came home, and the mom was sitting in traffic, and she was trying to drive my friend Stephanie home, and the mom got so annoyed, she, like, went up on the sidewalk, and she's like, "I don't have to take this anymore," and she rammed the car up on the sidewalk, and she tried to drive on the sidewalk, and then she probably got stopped by the cops. But anyway, Stephanie might have been telling tall tales, but those were some funny ass stories that she would tell about that woman and her son. The other story related to either Twisted Sister or Dee Snyder had to do with my high school days, when I went to this Halloween party and we played this game where we would write the name of a character that we wanted to give a person on their back, and then the person would have to ask us questions about what character they were. And so I made this kid named Ian McKenna Thomas. I made him Dee Snyder, and this kid was, like, so conservative and so clean cut, and he was, like, the most absolutely un-Dee Snyder-esque type kid you could ever imagine. And, like, the whole party I was cracking up. I was like, I just made Ian Dee Snyder. I couldn't stop cracking up. But The kid reminded me kind of like a Michael J. Fox type, and a combination of like Michael J. Fox in Family Ties and Mike Myers. Oh, they're both Michaels. Mike Myers, the Saturday Night Live character, like, hi, I'm a really good looking guy, you know, with a really toothy smile, because he did have a really toothy smile. Like, Ian McKenna Thomas was comically good looking, I would say. And if I could show you any other visual, it's this one, which cracks me up even more. It's this, like, 1942 military guy, and I always imagine him. I've been posting this since, like, the early 2000s, and I always imagine this guy with, like, one of those 1940s radio announcer voices, like, hey, how about a nice big cup of shut the fuck up, going into Saturday night, and we're shutting things up with our fucking cups all night long. So anyway, yeah, those are my D. Snyder adjacent stories, and a personal anecdote, and a misspelling in real time, in real life, the likes of which I cannot for the life of me figure the fuck out. But he's a boomer. Maybe D. Snyder knows, because he's older than us, and he's a boomer, and he could tell us if we ever asked him. Now, this is kind of another little one. It's more of a personal one, but it's pretty funny. Plus, I just love this picture. I used to put this picture up on my Facebook as my New Year's picture for like every year since 2011. But I love this kid, like the roller skates with the big wheels that look kind of makeshift, and then her fat little legs and her fat little knees. Oh my God, she's so cute. And her little curly hair. But so my friend, I totally remember that he wrote under this picture on Facebook, "This picture is made of when?" Because it's just such a cool sounding phrase, I feel, and it just kind of flows off the tongue. But then I saw it in my Facebook memories a few years later, just last year, and this is the first time I ever noticed it. And the caption reads, "That photo is full of when." Full of when. I mean, it's probably not a commonly used phrase, so you guys probably wouldn't be able to comment on it one way or the other. But I'm like, oh my God. Not only is that totally not the way that I remember it, but it's just, I didn't even notice it until like this past year that there was something wrong with this when I went to look at it in my Facebook memories. It's like since 2011 and all the way up until 2019, I never noticed that this caption had changed. And lest we forget the movie Moon, or the poster for the movie Moon. Okay, so this is totally not the way I remember the poster looking for it. Like either this way or this way. These are the two incarnations of the poster that I found for it. I don't remember him ever being at the center of this thing that looks, well, that's supposed to depict the moon, but also looks kind of like a fingerprint. I don't remember this at all. What I remember is it looking something more like this, but this is something from a blog post. In other words, but he's still in the center of it, but what I remember is of Sam Rockwell being in a poster that looks like this, or in an image that looks like this that's about this size, but Sam Rockwell's feet are all the way down here. And it's just weird. I couldn't find any poster that depicted it like that. It's kind of like my memory of The Last Starfighter, when I couldn't find any poster the way I remember The Last Starfighter. That's a video I made, I think, in the fall of 2018. But in any case, I know I use this image because this particular image, where he's in the center rather than down off to the side, is from a Facebook post that I made a few years ago. And it says, Sam Rockwell from Moon. I can't get this thing to stay dark. Sam Rockwell from Moon, well, he was at the gelato place, and he had this German Shepherd, and he was very strict with it. So, anyway, I don't know if it changed or if I'm just totally misremembering it, but I know I stared at this poster all the time because it was just so arresting to me. And this song that we're playing, Walking on the Moon by the Dream, came out at the same time, so I thought that was kind of a neat little juxtaposition. I don't know that they planned it. But yeah, the moon poster, I don't know if you guys remember it, but it was never this symmetrical. This is way too symmetrical looking. Sam Rockwell's feet are supposed to be down here, and he looks like he's kind of walking out of this thing. Sorry, oh God, this camera's so bad. But anyway, you get the basic idea for the moon aspect of it. And then I got a nightly fun fact. It's a crazy fun fact to share with you guys. The night wouldn't be complete without this fun fact. Crazy fun fact. Paul Rudd is currently the same age plus, I think he's 1 year older even, as Wilford Brimley was when he made the movie Cocoon. I'm telling you guys, age inflation. Everybody's getting younger. It's all the preservatives in the food, right? And then I meant to show you this in one of my last videos, but I forgot. I just thought it was funny since Joel Osteen is a Mandela effect. But it makes so much sense. It's all coming and tying together for me now. I saw somebody say that Joel Osteen looks like Martin Short pretending to be Tim Allen, and I can't unsee it now. It's the most accurate statement ever uttered. So anyway, guys, those are our funny fun facts, images, Mandela effects for the night. I hope you enjoyed at least one of them, and peace out.